welcome WrestleRanters to the 28th edition of WrestleRant. I am your host, Bleacher feature Columnist Level 2, Graham GSM Matthews, here today to review last night's electric edition of Monday Night Raw, the best episode of Raw I have seen probably in the last 3 or 4 weeks. We have a lot of other news in the world of wrestling with the suspension of Evan Bourne and much more going to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Let's get right down to it with last night's Monday Night Raw review. So to kick off the show, we had Dolph Ziggler and Mick Foley, as well as Vicky Guerrero, CM Punk, and John Laurinaitis come out to engage in this promo with Foley. So Foley kicks off the show, unannounced appearance, so that was a very pleasant surprise to have Foley on the show. He says he will be competing the 30-man Royal Rumble match come the Royal Rumble pay-per-view in a couple weeks. I'm extremely excited to be seeing this coming to fruition. Mick Foley is one of my favorite superstars of all time. I cannot wait to see him compete in the Royal Rumble match, in his first WWE match, and I believe in about 4 years. I think the last time he competed in the WWE was in the 2008 Royal Rumble match, so I'm really excited to see him in part of the match. Dolph Ziggler had excellent chemistry with Foley on the mic. He had a strong promo there, very strong showing for Dolph Ziggler. He is really showing potential as a main event superstar in the last few weeks. And this promo is definitely indicative of that. So I'm really looking forward to Dolph Ziggler in the WWE Championship picture. And his promo with CM Punk was also very well done as well. So also moving on, I'm just going to be going out of order here. I don't really have the order in front of me. I just have a list of topics here. But Jack Swagger winning the United States Championship. Now, you would think a lot of people would be furious over the fact that Zack Ryder has just dropped the United States Championship after only holding it for 3 weeks, and seeing that a lot of people were really hoping that he would have a long reign, that it only lasted about 3 weeks, but sadly it didn't. It only lasted, it would last more than 3 weeks, but it didn't. So I'm kind of disappointed in that fact, because Zack Ryder worked a long time to garner the fans that he did and the popularity that he did. And I'm not saying that's going away, but he worked a long-ass time to get that United States Championship, and it just got taken away in 3 seconds. But you know what? He was injured, and so he does have an excuse for it, and I do hope to see a rematch down the road. And on the other hand, now that Jack Swagger is United States Champion, the belt kind of does go with Jack Swagger's moniker of being the All-American American, so that does fit perfectly. But Jack Swagger has been irrelevant for the past 2 years now since he dropped the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm not sure if this makes Jack Swagger relevant again, or this helps rejuvenate his career, or just makes the mid-card boring. I'm not too sure, but I would like to see the feud continue between Jack Swagger and Zack Ryder over the United States Championship. Now, seeing that, we also had John Cena speak on this, one second. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we had John Cena voice his concern on this. He got extremely angry with John Laurinaitis for saying that Ryder was not medically cleared to compete in this match, yet Laurinaitis put him in the match anyway. So John Cena was extremely frustrated over this and took out his frustrations on Jack Swagger, which Kane replied to a match at the Royal Rumble and with a small video package on the Titantron. This was also very well done. John Cena is finally showing his heelish side, ruthless aggression, that is, I would like to say. Extremely well done, excellent showing from John Cena, really bringing out that aggressive side that we've been wanting for the past couple of months and weeks now. So I'm really looking forward to where this brings us from here. As far as Kane's promo goes, that was kept short and sweet. So I was happy in the fact that John Cena and Kane, their little feud going on here, unlike last week when it was given the entire show to build, this week was given only, a couple minutes, only like 2 segments, I believe. So I was really proud of that. For the first match of the night, we had Primo and Epico defeat Air Boom to retain the WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, Primo and Epico defeated Air Boom in an impromptu match at the live event in California over the weekend, this past Sunday, to win the WWE Tag Team Championships. Now, originally, I was a little bit confused as to why they changed the championships. They changed hands at a house show. Anything can happen at a house show. I think that's what the whole scenario was for that. But I think now, looking back on it now that it's been revealed that Evan Bourne has been suspended for 60 days for violating the wellness policy for the second time, that Evan Bourne is now no longer WWE Tag Team Champion. This is why. Because they wanted to drop the titles to Primo and Epico so they can give Air Boom the rematch so they wouldn't be asking for it when Evan Bourne eventually got back. Now, I am extremely disappointed in Evan Bourne for just pulling this shit again. Evan Bourne is an effing idiot. I mean, I don't want to swear on here, but I'll just say it, that Evan Bourne is a fucking idiot for getting himself suspended for the second time in the past 2 fucking months. He just got suspended 2 months ago on November 1st, I believe. And now he gets himself suspended again like a selfish asshole. And now Kofi Kingston is probably really let down by this, seeing that Evan Bourne and him are really good friends in real life and in the ring. And seeing that Kofi Kingston has to suffer from this too, from Evan Bourne's assholish antics, because he was just too selfish and got all this marijuana shit and spice or whatever it is. Now that Kofi Kingston will be drifting in the mid-card and jobbing to the rest of the roster like he was a while ago. So I'm not looking forward to that. But I apologize for my language, but I'm really pissed off at Evan Bourne for pulling this shit again. So hopefully we see him in TNA if he does indeed get future endeavored. But you know what? That's his problem. I wouldn't really care at this point anyway. We also had the main event last night with Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, and CM Punk teaming against the team of Mark Henry, Dolph Ziggler, and David Otunga. Now, this was most definitely the highlight of the night, no doubt. We had Team Best in the World versus Team Challenger, I guess you would say, of Ziggler, David Otunga, and Henry. Now, there was a lot of overbooking in this match, and not bad overbooking either. Not TNA shitty overbooking. I'm talking about real overbooking, like a lot of good stuff going on here. Like we had the hype for the World Championship match between Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry. Now, Daniel Bryan had a very strong promo. His promos are, slowly getting better, transitionally getting better over the last couple of weeks. So I'm really liking him as a heel. He's getting that much needed heat that he deserves and needs in order to get over as a heel, that heat that Christian was lacking when he first turned heel, early last year. But anyway, this match, Chris Jericho eventually, when he tagged in, CM Punk tagged in Chris Jericho, he went crazy. He was pandering in the crowd like he usually does. And then he just tagged Daniel Bryan and just walked off. Now, that was absolutely hilarious. Chris Jericho is indeed the best in the world at what he does in entertaining the fans, and that was definitely entertaining and definitely made this fresh instead of Jericho just coming out and doing what he did the past 2 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that definitely does give motivation to the CM Punk feud if that does indeed happen on the road to WrestleMania 28. Now, also, we had, since Jericho walked out and Henry was beating up on Daniel Bryan, we had Mick Foley come in and take the place of those two men and unleash a mandible claw onto David Otunga. Now, that was very well done. I was loving every second of it that Mick Foley was in the ring. Sure, he can't move like he used to, but it's a really fun moment when you see Mick Foley in the ring. Now, the crowd exploded for the mandible claw, which just goes to show how over this guy really is when he's being used seriously. When this guy was being used in comedy roles over the last couple of months, it just doesn't work for Mick Foley. It's just useless. So I'm really happy that he's finally being used correctly. And then after the match, John Laurinaitis came out, reversed the decision, and gave David Otunga, Ziggler, and Henry the victory by reverse decision because of their antics or something like that. I'm not too sure. So CM Punk ran it off on John Laurinaitis. Another beautiful promo. One of the best promos of Punk since we've seen on June 27th is Epic Rant. So this is definitely one of the best promos and the most aggressive side that we've seen of Punk in the last couple of weeks. Same thing with John Laurinaitis. After Punk walked off, John Laurinaitis got extremely aggressive, got extremely emotional, extremely well on the mic for the first time since he developed as a character. Now, I was really into that. John Laurinaitis really showed his, as I just said, his full aggressive side, his full angry, furious, enraged side of his character that we have yet to see out of John Laurinaitis. And then he proceeded to knock Mick Foley over the head with his microphone. So that got him a lot of heat that he needs. And he also admitted that he was going to screw CM Punk out of the WWE Championship come the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So this is definitely intriguing. I'm definitely looking forward to that match. Really, what else is there to say about that? I mean, Mick Foley also played his role really well. So everything about this segment, about this match, about this show, everything about this Raw was absolutely perfect. I mean, okay, not to say it was perfect, but it was fantastic. It was definitely entertaining. I mean, after the last shitty Raws that we've had over the last couple of weeks, this is definitely a step up. I mean, everyone was included on the show that I'd like to see. We also had that fatal four-way between Miz, Truth, Sheamus, and Wade Barrett. That also was pretty good. So I'm also really liking this feud between, Cena and Kane and Ziggler and Punk. So they managed to give everyone equal time and shine on the certain angles that need to be shined upon. Now also Brodus Clay, that was also beautifully done, obviously. Also, I love Brodus Clay. I always have since they began hyping him as a major threat. So I'm really, really looking forward to what he brings to the ring in coming weeks. I was, chanting "Somebody's Gonna Call My Mama," his theme song. I was chanting that. I was dancing along with the music. That was absolutely hilarious. I mean, everyone in the crowd seems to be getting into Brodus Clay's gimmick. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm really loving what Brodus Clay is bringing to the table as part of this gimmick. So as I just said, Monday Night Raw was absolutely fantastic, and hopefully they can keep it up for the go-home show, I believe, next week. Let me see here. Today's the 16th, so yes, next week is the go-home show for Monday Night Raw until the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, so I'm really looking forward to that. They managed to hype the Royal Rumble as well, so very well done in all areas and all aspects of Raw. So with the few minutes that we have left, I just have a few news headlines that we have going around here on the world of wrestling. First of all, Yokozuna was announced, or not really announced, but rumored to be the next WWE Hall of Fame inductee. I am really looking forward to that. That is a posthumous inductee since he died a couple of years back. So, and he definitely deserves it. So I'm really looking forward to that. Adding to the already strong induction card of Edge and the Four Horsemen. So also we have Christian returning from injury, hopefully by the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. That is what officials are hoping. I love to see him return to the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Obviously, I don't think he'd win it, but I'm really looking forward to Christian returning. I love Christian. I really want to see what he brings to the table with Daniel Bryan, who has a similar gimmick as to what Christian had when he was previously on SmackDown before his injury. So what else? We also have the Sin City SmackDown this week. We have Wade Barrett versus Sheamus in the World Championship match between Daniel Bryan and Mark Henry. Really looking forward to that, as well as the SmackDown Raw Roulette Reel. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that also provides for some awesome matches. Really looking forward to SmackDown this week. We have Beth Phoenix, who was not on the show last night on Monday Night Raw because it's not because she's still suffering from the injury. It's because they just don't want to use her for some reason. They have Perez Hilton, but they don't have Beth Phoenix. That's kind of confusing to me. That's mind-boggling in WWE booking, so I'm not too sure about that. And we also have the Mid-Card Mafia. I just read they had all their videos removed from YouTube because of the content a part of it and ripping apart WWE. So, I don't know. Good luck to Tyler X and Kurt Hawkins getting over in the office because it's obviously just not working. And also, lastly, I just heard that Mr. Anderson has not been on television for the past 2 months, which is something I have been heavily concerned about over the last couple of weeks on Impact. I mean, this isn't my only TNA headline for this broadcast, for this WrestleRant, but, Mr. Anderson hasn't been really used in any storylines lately, so hopefully we see him back on TV sooner rather than later. So that about does it for this week's WrestleRant. And now time for my shameless plugs. You guys can follow me on Twitter at save_us_GSM. Visit my newly rejuvenated Next Era Wrestling website that I just got back up and running today after suffering from some technical difficulties over the past couple of weeks. So you guys can check that out for all the WWE rumors, recaps, reviews, and more at nextwrestling.weebly.com. You can also check out my Spoilers podcast with Ben Gartland. We just got off a fresh hot episode at Spoilers Podcast, which is blogtalkradio.com/spoilerspodcast. I will be appearing on Ring Rest Radio, the podcast from Donald Wood, next week, so check that out as well. That I believe is at 6 Central Time, so be sure to check that out. Spoiler Podcast this week at, I believe, 6 o'clock Eastern Time with an exclusive interview with NEW superstar, Northeast Wrestling star Matt Taven, as well as find me on Bleacher Report at Graham GSM Matthews. So that about does it. I hope you guys enjoy your week. And, that's all for now. And until then, guys, GSM signing out.